The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network.
Good afternoon. I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Mangums.
We want to welcome you to Straight Talk about the blended family.
We appreciate you tuning in to us today, and we pray that we will give you a fresh perspective on how to allow your blended family to mesh and to blend well. Welcome to another show about Straight Talk about the blended family. I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Mangums. We're going to open up in prayer before we go forward. We have an amazing show for you today. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this amazing day, this show. We thank you for everything that you're about to do. Bless everyone that will call in today, God, to share their breast cancer survivor victory story. We thank you for this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Now we want to do our thank yous. We want to thank the Lord for giving us this platform. We want to thank Lionel Green and WBGR staff here. We want to thank those who are praying for us in the show, those who are sharing the show and doing watch parties, those who are supporting the show. We just thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to call today's show, if you have a breast cancer story, if you are a breast cancer survivor, feel free to call our show today. We have some people that's going to be calling in today to share their story. You can call online. One is 301-429-9247. That's 301-429-9247. If that line is busy, you can call 301-306-7284. That's 301-306-7284. Feel free to call us and give us your story about 10 or 15 minutes. And and we're going to give you some points, and some things that you can do. We just want to encourage you. We just
to really continue your winning ways over breast cancer, because you're not just a survivor, you are victorious over your breast cancer situation. And so we are very, very excited today, just to let you know that we are going forward. Hold on. We have a phone call coming in. Good afternoon. This is Doc D and Michelle. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Doreen Morgan. How are you?
Hi, Doreen.
Hey, Doreen. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about where you're from, and tell us, are you a breast cancer survivor, victorious one?
Yes, I am. 7 years long.
So where are you from, Doreen?
That's awesome.
I'm from the DMV. I live in Maryland.
Maryland. Awesome.
Okay.
So tell us about your story. Give our audience a glimpse of your victorious 7-year victorious story.
Well, I went through a weight loss. And I lost 170 pounds.
Wow.
And after the weight loss, I found a lump. So I think the weight loss kind of, saved my life, because I probably wouldn't have found it before. So I went to the doctors. It was prior to Thanksgiving. And they sent me in for additional testing. And when it came back that it was indeed cancerous, I got a phone call from my doctor. I think he was more tore up than I was. And I kept telling him, it's going to be okay. And he was upset on the phone, and he was like, I'm really sorry. I kept saying, Dr. Dixon, it's going to be okay. And so, I got off. I just told him, just tell me what's next. What do we do? Where do we go from here? What do I have to do?
Yeah.
Right. And so, he gave me a doctor's name, and I set up everything. And of course, both of my doctors are retired now. They were wonderful doctors, but it was right before Thanksgiving, and I said, well, do I tell my family? And I'm that person. I'm that girl who doesn't. I don't like for people to fuss over me. I don't want people to look at me like I'm about to explode or anything.
Right.
So Thanksgiving went by. I didn't tell anybody.
Okay.
And so my surgery and everything was set up for the beginning of the year. And they wanted me to go ahead and go through the holiday season. So I didn't tell anybody until maybe a week before my surgery.
Okay.
And so I had to tell my husband, of course, and my family. And anybody outside of that nucleus didn't know until, like, little at a time. I mean, once your hair falls out, everybody knows.
Oh, absolutely.
Something's going on over there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I think that's when everybody actually, found out that there was something going on.
We lost her.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Doc D and Straight Talk and Michelle. How can we help you?
and Mariana Antignutis.
Hi, Annette. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good.
Awesome.
Thank y'all for calling. Where y'all calling in from?
Falls Church, Virginia.
Okay.
Right.
So we got two champions on the line of breast cancer, correct? Or we just have one?
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all take a turn. Who y'all gonna talk first? Tell us your story. We got some other people calling in, but we want you. We are grateful that you guys called in. We're really excited. So tell us our audience and your story today.
Oh, okay. This is Annette.
Okay.
I will go first. I was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 1998.
Okay.
1998.
Wow. Okay.
Praise God, I'm still here, and I had to have one breast removed, and it was very fatal. They didn't think I was going to make it, but like I said, praise God, I'm still here.
Yes. Yes.
And I had reconstruction done, and I was 39 years old. Okay. I was 39 years old, and then I was diagnosed again in 2016.
Okay. Wow.
First time I had to have chemo, and the second time I had to have radiation.
Okay.
Okay.
So it came back in the same breast.
Okay.
So
Wow.
that was kind of fatal. So it was very, very heartening to me, but I never lost faith.
Yeah, you sound like you're such a trooper. Oh my God, that is awesome. Wow.
I really thank God and praise Him. Can't praise Him enough for keeping me here. So
Yes.
I see my grandkids.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh my God. For the audience don't know, that Annette and I went to high school together. We grew up in Alexandria, so we went to high school, T.C. Williams, together.
Yeah.
And had an opportunity to see Annette a few months ago at our 40th. It was my 41st, and I think her 40th reunion. So she looks wonderful. God has been keeping her. And so she had the opportunity to meet my wife, Michelle. But, we thank you so much for calling in and sharing your story. I am grateful to God that you're still here and you have a smile on your face and a pep in your step. That's what I thank God for. Yes. Oh, okay. So we want to get your other friend. Could you give us your name as well, please? Thank you, Annette.
Okay, you're welcome. Just a moment, please.
Hello, so sorry about that. This is Mariana. I'm actually calling in because I'm a supporter of breast cancer. A very good friend of mine that I've known for many, many years has fought breast cancer not once but twice and has had both of her breasts removed, and she has done remarkably well, and her rehabilitation and her encouragement, and she's one of my biggest heroes, and I wanted to shout out.
Wow. So who you shout out, Annette?
Yes, I'm.
Okay. I wanted to make sure. Oh, thank you so much. And your name again?
My name again is Mariana Antignutis, and I wanted to say that I'm a huge supporter and an advocate, and I try to do whatever I can to be supportive to both my friend Annette and also to my friend LaShawn, who has fought a hard fight, and they are just tough, remarkable women. And I wanted to reach out to anyone out there who's suffering to know that there is encouragement, and as long as you have faith in God and believe and have a good support system, you too shall, can, and will go through it and be able to persevere and overcome the challenges. And
wow. Yes.
LaShawn always says, "I am not my hair." And
that's right.
Come out and not wear any wigs or anything like that, and stand proud and tall. So that was what I wanted to add to the program.
Marvelous.
Right.
Thank
awesome.
you both so much.
You.
Listen, you guys are just tremendous. My wife and I, we're grateful that you took the time out your schedules to call into our show. Listen, have a great day, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Take care.
Bye,
bye.
Bye,
ladies. Good afternoon. Straight Talk. This is Doc D and Michelle. How can we help you? Good afternoon. This is Straight Talk. Doc D and Michelle. How can we help you?
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. She's calling me on my
Lincoln.
Hello? Hello? Yeah.
Okay.
So we got to keep going. So hopefully they'll call back. Listen, if you're looking to call in, if you're looking at our show, please call 301-429-9247 or 301-306-7284. I know Dr. Falcon's been trying to call in, and I think she tried to reach out to me on my cell, but the number to call in is 301-429-9247. Again, 301-306-7284. She's trying to call in.
Go ahead and answer. I told him go ahead and answer so he can, yeah.
Hey, Doc.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Doc, listen, you call my cell. Let me give you a number to call in to the show.
Okay.
The number is 301 429-9247.
Gotcha.
Call that number and we will pick up, okay? So we want to talk about a couple tips. Before Doc calls in, let me check. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Doc D and Michelle. Straight talk about the blended family.
Just hang up. Pick up and hang up. Pick up and hang up.
So anyway, little technology glitches. It's okay. Listen, the first tip we want to tell you, and we got these tips from a tremendous writer. Her name is Andrea King. But we wanted to just kind of give these tips to you as
Andrea King
Collier. Thank you, babe. We want to give you some tips that she gave us, and we wanted to share this. First of all, the first tip is don't blame yourself. Mm-hmm. The notion of breast cancer prevention is complicated. A woman's overall risk can... Good afternoon, Doc D.
Hi, it's Doreen. I finally got back through.
Okay, Doreen.
Hey, Doreen, hold on 1 second. Don't go nowhere, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Doreen, you know what? Go ahead and go, and then we'll get back with the next line.
Okay, so Doreen, you said you lost 170 pounds. You didn't tell your family at first, except for your husband. And they figured it out when your hair fell out.
Yeah.
And
yeah, well, I didn't even tell him. I told him a week before my surgery.
Oh, you told him a week before your surgery as well?
Mercy.
Right. So I kept it to myself for 2 months.
Wow.
And the whole thing about it was, at the time I was believing God, so I didn't want the naysayers.
Gotcha.
I didn't want people to speak bad things.
Right.
Sometimes we speak it and not know we speaking it. So
yes.
I didn't want to say.
I understand. Definitely.
Negatively about it.
Okay. Wow, that was amazing though that God was increasing your faith during that process for 2 months. That's awesome. Your story is phenomenal, and we want to make sure, we want to stay in touch with you. Check out our Facebook page, because next year when we honor the women, we want you in the studio.
Yes, sir.
We want you to come and hang out with my wife and I in the studio next year. And so we want you to stay with us on Facebook and follow us on some of the social media sites, because we believe in honoring women and a percentage of men during this month.
So Doreen, what was your process of getting free?
My process was I had to go through chemo every 3 weeks until July, from February until July.
Okay.
And I had radiation every day for 30 days.
Okay.
And so I went through some things after that body-wise, so I would tell ladies, make sure that if you go through chemo, to make sure you go get your heart checked afterwards, because then I got sick a year later. I had a kidney stone that didn't pass, and when it did pass, they found that my heart was down to 30% working.
Mercy.
Wow.
It was from the chemo.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, even for that, it's like all of my sicknesses, when they've come about, they've always revealed something else.
Right.
Right.
Even in that, there was a victory. So,
yes.
They put me on some medication, and it built my heart back up, and I'm still not at 100, but I can't tell. I mean, it hasn't changed my life.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is incredible. Just to hear that is so amazing. Wow. So you're doing better now. It sounds like you're doing fantastic. It sounds like you've been an inspiration to the women that have connected with you and you contacted them. And that's really what the deal is, I believe, in my humble opinion, as a godchild, is that we become that witness. We become that inspiration.
Yes, definitely. And a lot of times the people are in our ears. So don't listen to the people. Just believe in God, and just know that He's promised you healing. So I just believe on Him, and that's what my doctor was so upset. I was like, "Don't cry, Dr. Dixon. It's gonna be okay." I'm telling him it's gonna be okay.
Right.
Wow.
And so
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was, and then it changed my life afterwards in the sense that I don't take. I'm like this. I'm on the other side of life. Our days are numbered. So
yes.
I don't take my days for granted anymore. I want to make sure that I get everything done, or make sure I do something that counts for something each and every day.
Wow.
Yes.
Because they're not promised to, and it's like a wake up call. That we're sleepwalking through this life.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
We need to do things to motivate other people, to encourage other people, and or to be amongst the living, should I say?
Yes.
So now, because of the fact that I had that wake up call, now I'm amongst the living. And
yes. Well, listen, you know what? We want you to stay in touch with us, because your time sharing with us and our audience has just been wonderful. And we thank you again for taking the time out your work schedule to call in and hang out with us. But we want to stay connected, if that's okay with you. Please find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any Twitter. Just stay close to us, because we definitely want to have you in the studio next year, or maybe for that. But we're going to see, definitely for our Breast Cancer Champion Month in October. We just want to just honor those women and percentage of men that have overcome this thing.
Most definitely. No problem.
Have a great, great day and a magnificent week, okay?
Thank you for your platform.
Sure.
You too.
God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Doc Williams.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for hanging on. We had a woman that got cut off, and we had to take the rest of her call. But listen, Doc, tell us where you're calling from.
I am calling from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay. Well, listen, my wife, Michelle, and I'm Doc
How
D.
are you?
We are grateful.
How are you?
We're so grateful that you decided to call in.
Thank you so much.
And just share your story. Audience, I had opportunity to reach out to Doc on Facebook this morning. We had a little circumstances with our guests, and we were looking for someone to either come into the studio or call in to share their breast cancer victorious story, or if they know someone. So, Doc, listen, you got the next few minutes to take your time and just share with us a little bit about yourself. Tell our audience who you are, maybe what you do. And like you said, you're from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Those are great people down there in Fayetteville.
Yes, we actually relocated to Fayetteville from Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
I grew up mainly in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I began practicing mental health in Savannah, Georgia. But I was diagnosed with stage 2, triple negative breast cancer, September 20th of last year.
Wow.
And the thing with my story is that the breast cancer was there for 2 years. And I say it was there for 2 years because it showed up in my 2016 mammogram. I was told it was a benign tumor. They usually go away on their own. I have absolutely no history of breast cancer in my family. I was never CAT scanned or biopsied. I was sent home.
Wow.
Had my follow-up mammogram 2017, and the tumor was actually bigger. It was like 1.6 centimeters, and again, was told it was benign. I was sent home.
Wow.
I was approved for a breast reduction despite the tumor being there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the breast reduction March 27th, 2018. And while recovering over 4 months, the same mass, which I thought they would have taken out during the breast reduction, if not, it grew.
Mm.
Wow.
It grew, and it felt like I had a gumball. So at this point, we're like, what's going on?
Yes.
And it was actually my plastic surgeon that did my breast reduction. He said, you know, I'm not going to beat around the bush. There are certain markers and characteristics that we look for when he did the in-office ultrasound.
Yes.
He said, I'm telling you, this looks like breast cancer. I was floored.
Wow. We can only imagine. Wow.
I was floored. I was at top of my game. I had my just finished my PhD the year before. We were planning to celebrate my 40th birthday in Jamaica.
Wow.
Telling me that, and this was all planning in this year, and I didn't even really get to enjoy the after effects of the breast reduction because I knew something was just abnormally wrong. You know, how they said my healing process would happen, it wasn't happening. And then when this mass just grew, it was there. So it was very disappointing because one, my husband's military, so we have he's retired disabled military, so I was fortunate to have great medical benefits. So there was no justification as to why they didn't go in further and do a CAT scan, a ultrasound, or a 15-minute biopsy. But, you know, going through this experience, I ended up having to do 18 chemotherapies, 28 radiation therapies. I was supposed to have 2 ductiles in my right arm removed. I ended up having 6 taken out. It's been a journey, and even through the journey, what I realized is no one ever really questioned me on my mental health status. And I don't know if that's because I work in mental health, but, you know, they give us a piece of paper, and we're supposed to check the smiley face that reflects how we feel for the day.
Right.
Yeah, and I would always draw a little devil the paper and say, you're missing a smiley face, but this is my smiley face for the day, because I should not have gone through this. Had it been approached, you know, really investigated and figured out that I've had cancer all this time, I may not have had to go through the aggressive treatment that I ended up going through. But the one thing that I will say that I've learned, and I want every man and woman, not just battling breast cancer, but just going to the doctor, period, is to realize the power of your voice. To truly engage, ask questions. You have the right to request certain tests and exams.
Yes.
Just really be open with your doctor. And even if they don't recommend it, use your voice to recommend. You want them to be sure.
Exactly.
And I preach that to women who ask me, you know, what's the one thing that I've learned? And I've learned the importance of how my opinion counts in my medical care.
Yes.
You know, Doc.
That's powerful.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I'm gonna let you continue to talk. I won't forget my question. No, you go ahead, because you on to something.
So many women are misdiagnosed that truly do have breast cancer, and just because there was no history of it in my family, and I was very young. I was active. I was very young.
Yeah.
They didn't think that that's what it was. And yes, I am a true Southerner. I drink sweet tea, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and with snacks. I love tea.
That's
so
all right.
I constantly told give it up, and I could not. And I was always told, you know, you drink caffeine, so that's where the cyst comes from. It was cancer. It was cancer.
Yes.
And luckily, it wasn't metastatic. It was triple negative. So we knew off the bat I would respond very well to treatment. But I just could not jump back into mental health without addressing the true issue of being your own personal advocate for your own medical care. And I get that a lot of men and women are afraid to go to the doctor, But I strongly urge whoever's listening to, go to the doctor. It may just be a cyst. It may just be a spot on your skin. It may just be, belly ache from how you're eating. You don't know unless you go to the doctor and you advocate for them to truly examine you. But also, know your medical insurance. I have dissected my insurance to the T. Know what you have, know the possible financial out-of-pocket expenses, and know what your insurance will cover so that you already have your own blueprint as to what you're going to discuss with the doctor when you're behind closed doors. They may have that 15, 20-minute rule with the patient, but you'll be amazed what you can cram into that 20 minutes, especially when it comes regarding to your health. Mm-hmm. So just truly being an advocate for yourself and, knowing that you do have a voice in your care. And if you do find yourself in crisis going through a critical illness, know that mental health is definitely in the community. It is available. There are a lot of programs if you don't have health insurance that still make it affordable, especially through your local health department. So if you're, finding yourself with depression and anxiety or other issues, battling a critical illness, mental health is definitely an option for you.
Doc, listen, what you're saying is just so phenomenal.
Yes.
We had some tips because we're closing out Breast Cancer Awareness Month by having champions like you on the line. Mm-hmm. But I did some research like I always do just to find out different things because I always have questions about things. And one of our questions, I think question number 5 or 6 was to understand your health care. Mm-hmm. Understand your medical insurance. And you just blew it out of the water. And I'm grateful for that. So we don't have to talk about it. But
that's wonderful because we really appreciate you calling and giving this information because we've had each guest who has called or who has come on the show, they've given us something, everybody has given us something different.
Powerful.
Like one guest told us, about how people lose their joy. You know what I mean? She said, people just don't think about that. Like they need to be around people who are positive, who are supportive and upbeat, who are telling jokes, making them laugh. She said even in the pain, a laugh will, what I mean, can help you, and I mean, it has just been awesome, that everybody. And then we have one caller, and she is a part of the fight. She is like actually her and another doctor are actually seated at the table with scientists and those researchers who are
researching breast cancer or cancer as a whole.
Yes, because she was telling us that some things or some procedures are not geared towards the African American woman. And, they found that certain medicines and stuff, kind of counteracted, what they were trying to do. It's
not compatible, what she was saying with the African American women in the community.
And so they're getting together, creating medicine that works for, for whoever.
Yeah, so Doc, I really, my wife is right on point, but I really, really are so excited about you sharing the valuableness of having a voice. And one of the things that we all know in society and life is that if you are silent, more than likely you're suffering in silence.
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely. And another thing that you said so many great things, but one of the things, and I was listening to you, and people have this assumption from what you just said, that they assume that mental health professionals don't need to have their mental health checked or needed to be boosted or needed to be incentivized or even focus on that as a part of something they're struggling with when they have a crisis or terminal disease or something that of this nature. And when you said that was like, she's right on point. Yes. I mean, they're looking at Doc and say, well, you're a mental health person. You should be able to jump over this mentally and psychologically and not feel the brunt of depression or the brunt of sadness. Mm-hmm. But that's not fair. And I'm glad.
Exactly. And I've had people to say, well, you say you had depression. I said, being a mental health professional does not make me less human.
Exactly. Yes.
I am just as vulnerable, and I break just like glass. I tell women in my support group, and when I do speak in the community, that I battled depression, I battled anxiety. I discussed with my husband that I just think it would be best for me to die because I don't want to go through this. So I went through all of that, and if it wasn't for my family and my spiritual warrior and, oh my God, my husband, if he's listening, kudos to you for being just the great motivational person that you are.
Wow.
I don't think I would have personally got through this. So, yeah, I could have all the book knowledge in the world, all
Come on now.
credentials behind my name. That still doesn't make me, immortal to the fact that I battled mental illnesses myself, going through a critical medical illness. And from the moment you hear that you have cancer, and kudos to my doctor who just was so direct with me, and he didn't beat around the bush with me, and he said, we're going to act now and we're going to act together. And, I just had a powerful team to push me through this. And even when I was going through treatment, I would talk to people about, don't just fill out that paper. I filled out the paper, the first chemo, the second chemo, drawing the little devil faces on it. I'm guilty of that. The third time, I didn't even fill it out. I said, why won't you ask me point blank how I'm feeling?
Yeah.
I said that to the nurse, and I said, I can answer that for you, because that creates a new responsibility that you have to deal with me and probably everyone else.
Yes.
And it's sad that that's just the medical society that we're in, and I had to pretty much hold her accountable for what she was lacking in doing. And once I did that, and then she shared it with the doctor that was treating me, I noticed the next time I came in, the doctor actually sat with me and said, tell me how you're feeling today. I wasn't getting that before.
Yeah.
And whether I said that in anger, because, hello, I'm still a human being, or if I said that because it needed to be done, I honestly don't know. But I see now it had to be done, because that slowed them down to really realize that this is not a machinery. We're not pieces on a little machine piece of equipment that's just going down the rotary belt. We're human beings, and you have to stop, pause, and give us just a few minutes of empathy versus that this is just the business we deal in, move on to the next patient.
That is so powerful.
That is powerful.
Holding them accountable is so important. And just briefly speaking, I'm African American. I grew up in that household where what happens in the house, you keep it in the house.
Yes.
And so many of my patients that are African American, they seek me out, one, because I am African American, but they always tell me, I was raised to not talk. And that's so sad. So what you're really doing is you're cultivating your children who will become adults to be silent and to not advocate for themselves or use their discernment to apply it to their voice.
Yes.
So, and this is a October awareness issue, but it is a 365-day issue.
Now, you know what, Doc? Excuse me a second. You're on point. Now, you must have listened to last week's show as we closed out, because I said to our guests.
I didn't actually.
Okay. Well, see, it's a reason why I'm traveling this route. The reason why I'm traveling this route, because I said to our wonderful guest last week, I said breast cancer awareness month is this in October, but breast cancer awareness need to be 12 months out of the year.
Yes.
We need to be aware of ourselves. And, you're saying so many great things about how we as people of color, that we must understand that not only do we have a voice, but we have to actualize our voice.
Yes.
And make it known when we're dealing with other professionals. Because like you say, though, people get caught, these professionals, and I'm not against professionals because I'm a professional. I have a PhD too, and and I'm human. And let me say this before I say this. You are so powerful because you came to a place of transparency.
Yes.
And I think the reality is for all of us today listening to you is that if we're going to take care of ourselves, if we're going to be that conduit of help, that conduit of empowering others that's dealing with breast cancer or any type of disease or any type of crisis, is that we got to open our mouths, because people will assume a good percentage of them will presume in that area of professionalism that this is a routine. This is just another number. But no, you're not another number. You're God's greatest creation.
Yes.
And we got to speak up and tell people. And I'm with you a lot, because one thing as a male, and I can't compare to what you went through. I'm not trying to compare. But one thing as a male, I will ask questions. I'm going to the doctor. My wife don't have to tell me if something is abnormal about my body, something I'm not feeling right. I'm going to the doctor. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to find out if that test's not good enough, give me another test. And so, but I thank you for just broadening the spectrum within our audience to understand the value.
Doc, let me tell you, Doc Williams, we really appreciate you calling, because you have opened up. I mean, now one of the things that we discussed last week was, being aware of your breast and doing self breast exams yourself, so that you can tell if there's, a lump, that pops up. But when you said you have a voice in your care, that is so powerful, because some people think that, you can get diagnosed, and then you just have to do exactly, what they're saying. You don't have to get a second opinion. You don't have to, but it's very important that you hold your doctors accountable. That is so powerful that you said that.
It is. It's very important. And that's even with my daughter. I have a daughter. She's away at college. And she's battled asthma since she was a child, but even when she was a teen, I way prior to this, I made sure she knew her body, what symptoms to recognize, her medications, and I always, cultivated her to know that you will be an adult. You have to take on this responsibility yourself.
Absolutely.
So she called me maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And she's like, Mom, I'm going to the doctor. And I'm like, okay, so what do you know you're supposed to do? And she listed everything. I said, as long as you do that, you will have no problems. They will know how to treat you. And when you get your discharge paper from the doctor, make sure you read it and even make sure that information is accurate, because they are typing stuff in really, really fast. I remember I got my discharge papers probably mid-chemo.
Okay.
And I looked at it, and it specifically said male patient.
Wow.
And I said, wait a minute. I said,
pump your brakes.
The paperwork says I'm a male. I said, I'm very much a woman. I said, do you know that if you file a claim and it says that I'm a male, that claim will be denied, and chemo is over $8,000 per treatment.
Wow.
That bill would have came to me.
Yes.
And she said, I'll go ahead and fix it. I said, well, no. Don't just fix this date. Look at all the dates.
Exactly.
Those discharge papers are very important too, because that gives you a prelude into what they're going to report to your insurance.
Right. And post-treatment.
Make sure that is correct as well.
Absolutely.
And definitely, if they've missed something on there, you have the right to say, before you walk out the door, I need to see the doctor again, because my discharge does not address a concern that I pointed out to them. Make sure that concern is documented, because if something happens later on down the line and it's not documented, nor is it on your discharge paper, and you fail to hold that doctor accountable for not documenting it, it falls on you, because there's no paper trail that you reported these concerns. Luckily for me, there was not only a paper trail of the mass, but we had mammograms of the mass.
Wow.
Yes.
Being there. And we have the report where I have the measurement showing it was this size in 2016, it was this size in 2017, now 2018, it is a gumball size in my right breast, and it was always diagnosed as benign. I, did what anyone who's misdiagnosed do. I consulted a lawyer, and I was definitely justified in all my actions and concerns.
Yes.
And I pray that, my misdiagnosis doesn't happen to anyone else out there. But if you have a concern And even before I say that, to any male listeners out there, every year since 2013, 2,000 to 2,200 males are being diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Breast cancer.
It's really powerful what you're saying, and Doc, I'm gonna make you laugh for a minute because you've been really on it. All things work together for the good. I'm not gonna go further with that, but you just became our keynote guest today. You ain't realize it. You know, I'm sitting up here thinking while you talking, and I don't believe in happenstance. I'm not one of those individuals that believe in happenstance. I believe God orchestrates everything.
Oh, yes.
And I believe that how we connected today, and even though you're in North Carolina and you're on the phone, you have been, and we thank God for the other ladies that called in. They have been tremendous. But you just end up being our guest on today's show. Now, here's what I'd like for you to do. I'm just going to humbly ask you to send us a picture to my wife's page or my page. So when we talk about the show, we do a post show just thanking people, and we're going to thank the ones that are called in. My wife took down names. But Doc, we want to put you up on our page, and we want to say we had Dr. So-and-so was on here, and she was dropping not just knowledge, but education, not just for today's women or male, but for the generation. And so we're really excited today. That's why when you started talking, you know, I'm just in my mind. And, you know, normally I talk to my wife before I jump out there because she is definitely the executive producer of our show. And I always tell her that. She says she's not. But I'm going to give props where I do. But I really is sitting here listening to you, how you have just been a beacon of light and a tremendous educator for our audience. And they didn't even know they was getting this. I didn't know I was getting this. I got so educated today because I'm a continue learning. I tell people all the time, don't let them letters behind my name and some of the other stuff I got fool you. Yes. I'm always looking to be educated because there's some things that I don't know. I tell people all the time that when you continually have a teachable spirit and willing to be educated, even after you've done the formal education, then you open yourself up to learn at a greater level. And so today, Doc, you have just infused us in our audience with so much great wisdom, because a lot of times people don't know to do what you said to do. And we get kind of afraid because we're challenging people that have those credentials. But it's your right. One thing I heard, you said a lot of great things, but it's your right to take care of your own health. And how you said, how you shared with your daughter, you know, you're talking about a younger generation that needs to be educated, that needs to have courage and boldness to say, yo, what's going on? I need to take the right procedure because my mom and my dad gave me this training early on so that I don't get mixed diagnosed. And if I do, I can file and talk to the right legal people so that we can get this result. Because what you did, even then, you made the community, the medical community, aware that somebody is going to have a voice and that y'all need to be ready to handle your business. Because all the time they're always telling us, you know what I'm talking about, that we need to be able to handle our business. But when we go to you people, or the institutions, not you people, but the institutions that supposedly and hopefully have trained individuals, that they need to handle their business from top to bottom so that nothing slips through the crack. Because in a situation like this, if you were not diligent, and if you were not proactive, and if you were not trying to hold them accountable, then who knows what would have happened to you.
And Dr. Williams, you called them on their lack of bedside manner, I would say.
Yes.
You know, that is a lost art sometimes. You know, I remember when my grandmother was in the hospital and they went in and just was about to give her a needle. She didn't even know, they didn't tell her what it was for, or anything. So she called me on the phone and I had to tell them I told her, get the doctor, put him on the phone, and so they put it on her chart. Yes. Make sure you address her, make sure you tell her what, everything is for, and, don't just walk in there and give it to her. So I I'm telling you, you just don't even know.
We applaud you.
How phenomenal this
Thank
information is
you.
that you are sharing is. I am just so, I mean, for me, it's just to hear you say, we can take charge of our health, you know, and that we can, you know, that we have a voice in our care. That, man, that's so important, because you know, some people just, that, you know, they just take what people say and they just go with it, and whatever, you know, no matter how it affects them, or, you know, and so that was just so powerful.
And you know, another thing,
we really appreciate you calling.
Let me digress
for
a moment. So, how are you doing now?
Yes.
How are you doing
I am
mentally
amazing.
and emotionally?
I am in remission.
Okay.
I have been in remission this year.
That's awesome.
I established a foundation called Life After Breast Cancer. I actually started working on this foundation when I was still going through chemo.
Okay.
The goal of this foundation is just to continue to raise awareness to women who are actively going through treatment, that you do not have to be silent about being depressed or having anxiety or even being suicidal. I was there.
Wow.
So talk about these feelings, talk about it with your loved ones, talk to your oncologist, your radiation oncologist. There are social workers on the scene that can assess you and do depression assessments or Beckford assessments of your anxiety, just to see if you are at risk of suicide. 2 women every 12 hours will take their lives because they cannot handle going through treatment for breast cancer. And that is a lot of women.
That's a lot of women.
That's a lot of women.
That is
and
a lot.
A lot of mothers.
Their families say, we didn't know they were depressed. And in my mind, I'm like, do you not realize what they were facing? You know, every time I went to chemo, I had to take a Xanax.
Yeah.
Because my anxiety was so to the roof. I had those beauty sleeping masks.
Yes, I got you.
That we sleep in sometimes to block out the extra light.
Yes.
I would have to pull that over just so I wouldn't see the nurse come in with the chemo. The nurse, and I had a great nurse. Her name was Catherine. Catherine and my husband had a signal where she would let him know she's coming. That was his cue to let me know to pull down my mask, because I didn't even want to see it coming to hurt me.
Wow, this is so awesome.
It you know, that my mental health was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I just preach to anyone listening, please do not suffer in silence.
Yes.
Please get help. Talk to someone. Talk to someone. There is no one that you have to be brave or strong for other than yourself. And the bravest thing you can do for yourself is to advocate that you need help. So just getting help for yourself. You know, we want you to fight and win this battle until there is a permanent cure. We don't want you to lose the battle because your mental health is broken.
You know what, Doc? Let me do this before I forget.
Man, that was powerful.
Everything you have said has just been gems and treasures. Yes. But we need to let our audience know how they can reach you on social media, and because guess what, we're going to cultivate a relationship with you, my wife and I, even with your husband. That doesn't matter. We don't care. We love people. So we want our audience to know where they can reach out to you at, because regardless of what they're going through, they need to talk to somebody like you. And I'm not saying that there's not any other mental health professionals around, not even in the DMV, Washington, Maryland, and DC. I'm not saying that. But I can tell you right now, we spent more than a half an hour, 40 minutes listening, close to 40 minutes listening to Dr. Williams, Kris Williams, and I know she's her
it's Willams-Falcon.
Okay, Willams-Falcon. I'm sorry, because I was trying to think while I was saying her name, like the Falcons in Atlanta, but it's no S. But Doc has just been dropping so many nuggets on us, audience, and we want her to take this moment to tell us where she can be contacted on social media.
Yes.
Well, I have a breast cancer group, and I think you guys joined it. I don't know if I sent you. I sent you an invitation. You jumped right in.
I did.
But it's called Breast Cancer Mental Health Awareness Group. You can reach me through that Facebook group. You can type in my name, Kris Willams-Falcon.
Okay.
And you can contact me. My foundation is Life After Breast Cancer. That phone number is 910-248-9180. You can call us. We do telemental health, or you. I'm a strong advocate for face-to-face care as well. So if you want us to help you find someone in your area to get the mental health care you need, we will help you do that. Also, there is an awesome website called Psychology Today. All you have to do is type in Psychology Today, type in your zip code, and type in breast cancer, and it will give you a colossal of mental health specialists in your area that specialize in critical care or just primarily focusing on working with women battling breast cancer. So there are numerous ways to get help. My foundation, bottom line, is to help women who are battling anxiety, depression, and suicide ideation.
Wow.
We work with their families as well, because families are watching us go through this, and this is just as emotionally traumatic for them as it is for the patient at times, especially when they're little children watching their mothers or siblings go through a critical illness as such. You know, my daughter was in high school when I was the 12th grade, getting ready to go to college when I was finally diagnosed.
Wow.
And she didn't want to go straight off to college, and I kind of had to threaten her a little bit, like, no, you're going. You're going. I'm going to fight this. I'm going to be at your graduation, and I'm going to be at your college graduation. You do what I have taught you to do, what I want you to do. The worst thing you can do is not live your life.
That's right.
What I'm going through.
That's right.
You get out of my house and you go live your life.
Wow. You know, we're just sitting here just so overjoyed, just listening to you share not just the information, but you are just such a down-to-earth person, what I perceive by talking to you on the phone and listening to you. My wife and I, we are very, very grateful, because what we realize that everything we ask God to do to orchestrate this platform, He has done it. And we're going into our 11th month, a straight talk about the blended family. And, you know, we just tell people that we care. We really care about people being better mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever the case may be. Our goal is to help you get better. And so we know we cannot do that by ourselves. And we recognize that. And so today we just added, if you will, I'm jumping out in faith, another partner to straight talk about the blended family that has an expertise in the area that we don't focus on, you know. And I've never been afraid to bring in people that know what they know and do what they do, because this has never been about my wife and I. This is as we believe this is a global community.
It's about helping people.
Of helping people reach their value. And see, a lot of times we don't realize how valuable we are until something happens and we take a stand and say, you know what, I'm not going to be quiet anymore. I'm going to let you know that I'm concerned about how you're approaching this thing. You didn't approach it right. I don't care if you have all the formal education. Listen to me, because my opinion counts and it matters. And so we're just really grateful today. We thank you.
Thank you so much
for taking the time out your busy schedule. Oh my goodness, this has been wonderful. Listen, please stay in touch with us, and we never know when we may be going through Fayetteville and we hook up with you and your husband. We go have something to eat together. Just, you know, we like this. We just kind of like chilling, you know. We like chilling too. We don't like everything. We got to do what we got to do, but we like just reaching out and being with great people like you and your husband. And, you know, that's what we're about here. And so, again, my wife and I, we can't say it enough.
Yes, we really appreciate you.
Thankful and appreciate you so much, Doc. And we look forward
You're very welcome.
We look forward to hooking up with you in the near future so that we can do maybe some collaboration. We don't know. We don't know what we need to do, but listen, we know that if we hang with the master, things are going to be well. So listen, we often tell people have a fantastic Wednesday, but have a magnificent week.
Yes, and you guys as well. And again, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting my voice be hopefully a boost of encouragement for those listening to just really become a little bit more involved in their well-being that they may have already been, but there's always room for improvement. So thank you guys for helping me. Just continue to spread that message. And
yes.
I will talk to you guys soon.
Soon. Okay.
Right.
God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Magnificent.
Wow. Dr. Kris Willams-Falcon. Lord have mercy. We could not have orchestrated that if I sit down for 3 days.
Listen, that's
God sent.
That was God sent. She piggybacked off of when Robin Evans talked about, how people lose their joy and they get depressed.
Yeah.
And and Psychology Today. Please remember that, women, because we don't know. She had a husband who was her biggest supporter. If you may not be married, and if you're not, then go to Google Psychology Today and look up any mental health care breast cancer doctor who is dealing with your mental status when you're going through the breast cancer stages or when you're going through your treatments. Don't suffer in silence. Please don't suffer in silence, because we have been told by all of our guests at some point in time that whenever you are going through this process, you need a support system. You need your spirits lifted. You need to, you need to express some joy. So, you may not be able to do that on your own if you're depressed or have anxiety, So if you don't, by all means, please, and please don't give up. Do not give up. Never give up. Because God is not going to give up on you. Don't give up on yourself. All right?
Yeah, listen, today, I'm just so filled today.
Yes. So we did what the Lord told us to do. We honored the women this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. So we honored breast cancer awareness. We honored the women who called the show or came on the show. They all had such phenomenal stories, and they are triumphant breast cancer survivor warriors.
Yeah, they dropped it in, and even the men that was listening in.
They were so transparent, and you heard Dr. Willams-Falcon said 200 to 2,200 men. I know, because I know y'all saw me writing. I know y'all saw me looking at it. Has been
diagnosed with breast cancer. So brothers,
I'm a note taker.
Get checked out.
Yes, they said men have that men can get breast cancer too. So please, men, don't ignore if you are feeling something different about your, what's this area called? Pecs.
Your pecs.
Your pecs, okay?
Your chest, yeah.
Make sure you are taking the ball of your fingers and you are going around and you are feeling. You need, women too, you need to know what your breast for men pecs feel like, so that when something, if hopefully it doesn't, but if something foreign does appear, you will know it right away.
Yeah.
So.
This has been incredible opportunity.
Yes.
We're so grateful. The month of October has one more day.
Yes.
But this has been Straight Talk About the Blended Family, as we honored the women and men.
Yes.
For Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. Again, my wife said we had some just scintillating stories.
Yes.
That came onto this set, that listened and called in on the line. Their stories, the two callers today, Annette and the young lady that's an advocate for her friend. Doreen. And
Marietta.
Just Marietta, she was an advocate. We thank you all.
Yes.
For taking the time out your schedule.
And for being transparent.
To calling in and giving our audience the boost that they need, and everyone around you. You need to understand that you're valuable.
Yes.
And that God cares about you.
Absolutely.
But you can never be valuable in silence alone.
And be involved in your own health.
Take control of it, and you will win. Again, I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Mangums. Let's close in prayer. Father, we thank you for this magnanimous day.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you for every caller.
Yes.
Thank you for how you allowed them to be down to earth and transparent.
Yes.
To share their amazing stories of how they overcame and how they trusted you to be their healer.
Yes.
Father, everyone that's heard my voice today, let them know how valuable they are. Let them know they deserve to soar.
Yes.
And they deserve to understand that they've been given a phenomenal opportunity to be an impact and to change lives over breast cancer and any cancer. In the precious name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share the show. I know you have somebody
Please do a watch party
on your page who either has breast cancer, is a survivor, or may eventually get diagnosed. So please do a watch party, share the show, and so that they're already prepared and they have some information. Because I'm telling you, it boosts your ego when you know you have some information.
It just encourages you and give you courage.
Absolutely. You have a voice in your care.
Yes.
So
it's amazing.
God bless you. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, we love you. Until next week.
Show.
Next week we jump in November. Good stuff coming for November. We got an amazing guest next week. Woo!
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Babe.
Well, it's that time to end the show, but we've had an absolute blast.
Please come back and check us out on next Wednesday from 1:30 to 2:30, to where we will share some more insights on how the blended family can rise. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Peace be upon you.